What's going on there, YouTube? VapingwithTwisted419 has returned. That's right, people. We are back. How's everybody doing? It is Monday once again, people. It's time to suck this week's dick. That's right, people. And we're going to get it started with a pod system. You know, I got a bajillion of them ready to go at any given time. And this one's kind of, we'll talk about it. What this is and it's from a juice company. I only never known them to do juice. They got a device. I don't know if it's a branding thing. But anyway, this is the Hangsen IQ3. Okay, pod system. Hangsen. Yeah, you guys heard of them? They've been around forever making e-liquid in China. I've known of them since back in the day. Never really been a big fan of their juice, but hey, here goes a device. I've seen them at some vape expos and stuff too, as of recent, if I remember correctly. Maybe they were pushing this. I don't even remember. I don't know. But either way, what this is, people, this is a 400 milliamp hour, 2 mil capacity, 2 ohm pod system that has some very Apple-esque features to it. Some very iPhone-esque design elements to it, if you will, okay? You can get it in white or black, or kind of gray, really, and it sells for about 48 bucks on the interwebs, okay? 48, 50 bucks is what I see this thing going for. And this is one of those pod systems I don't really mind, because you can put your own juice in it and they sell extra pods and stuff like that. So that, I dig it. I don't like pre-filled pods. You guys know this. We've been over this. It's a thing. We get it, all right? But yeah, the design on this thing, very, very iPhone-esque. It's got like a glass front and back. The freaking charge port at the bottom looks like some iPhone shit. We'll get into it, but first, before I go too deep into this review, we got to talk about packaging, people. Packaging is important. We need to speak on it. And inside this packaging, you open this thing up and you get the phone experience, people. I'm a big fan of the peel feel. I love peeling protectors off of things, screens and things. So you get to do it front and back on this little device because it's got this glass front and back. Oh, you get to peel the thing. I like that. That does something for me, okay? It's just one of my things, okay? But moving on, we must dig further. We must dig further. What we're going to end up getting is your pod, of course. You know, you're going to have your little pod. You're also going to get a little bottle. A little squeeze bottle with a needle tip if you want to use it to fill this up, which you can fit regular tips. We'll talk about that too. And then you get a little white ribbon micro USB charge cable also, okay? You can also get 2 packs of pods. Got some here for reference to show you. You can get those extra. I forget the price, but you can get some, so that's a thing. And that's the packaging, people. That's pretty simple, pretty simple. All right, and now we must discuss this thing. We got to talk about this guy right here, okay? Now, there's something going on here. This looks pretty big. It's very slim and thin, but the size of this is pretty big, I would think, for 400 milliamp hour. But there's a double-edged sword here, people. 400 milliamp hour, but the pods themselves are 2 ohm. A lot of times with these pod systems, 1.2, 1.3, 1.5 ohm is kind of the standard with similar sized batteries. Bumping it up to 2 ohm, a fixed 2 ohm, you get a little bit better battery life on this thing. And you would need it because you also got a gosh darn 0.96 inch OLED screen. Now this screen doesn't have, you can't adjust anything, you can't do anything. This is just info right here, okay? So it's got 2 things. For one, it shows you battery life, right? And the other, it does this little animation when you drag on it. Does a little, the little vapor simulation animation when you drag on it. So that's all it does. That's it. And it automatically turns on when you pop a pod in it. It does a little logo, and then bam, it pops your stuff on, okay? Now look at the bottom of this thing, people. Look at the bottom. You got a micro USB charge port down there. You can see little dots, little venting dots down there. It's done kind of like an iPhone on the bottom. Just a discrepancy real quick. I hate Apple and iPhones and just Apple products in general. But yeah, and they copied it pretty dead on, okay? That looks, I get what they're going for here. I get the design. I see what's going on. I see it. And what's interesting, they got this little window here, right? And it's supposed to be like, I guess, like the camera. Maybe the camera on a phone, I guess. But you're supposed to be able to see your liquid. But honestly, this cartridge is dark. And this isn't double-sided. There isn't a window on the opposite side. So it really doesn't work very well for seeing your liquid. I can't really see it, okay? I can't really see it. All right, now moving on. moving right along. The pod design. The pod's kind of interesting. The coil and everything's down here in this little metal casing, and you got a little flap on the side. With that little flap, you can fill it up. Now, I used a plastic needle tip, and it filled it up fine from a pretty standard bottle, so there's no issue there. But yeah, 2 mil capacity is what we got on this little guy, which is pretty generous for most pods. But interesting design. Not really sure what that coil's, what's going on with that coil in there. Not tearing it apart, but yeah, it vapes pretty good. Flavor's pretty nice on it, I can say that. A little 2 ohm. Now, back to the double-edged sword thing. You get longer battery life because of things at 2 ohm. But also, you know, it doesn't seem like a huge difference in resistance. It's not as powerful because of it. This is a fixed 3.7 volt device, okay? 3.7 volts, 2 ohm. It vapes pretty good, it's pretty smooth, but it doesn't pack as much of a punch as some other pod systems. Pretty good airflow, pretty good airflow. It's not bad, but it's not as powerful. Much like an Apple product, it's mostly looks and gimmicks and no performance, okay? I'm not gonna say no performance, I just like taking digs at Apple. But no, it actually vapes okay, but it's, like I said, it didn't have that extra oomph. But altogether, I think it's a very sleek device. I think it's a very professional looking device, I guess you could say. This glass front and back looks nice. The little screen looked nice. The way the pod goes in and integrates into the device itself looks nice. Even though it's kind of cheesy, they did the whole iPhone charging port thing at the bottom. It looks nice. It works well. I gotta say, this isn't a bad little device. And with the way the battery life is on this 2 ohm, you can get through probably just about a day on it, I would say. And I like the digital readout on the battery life. The little square cube, 70%, 80% showing you as it goes. It's nice. It's a very nice, like this wouldn't be out of place in maybe an office setting, in my opinion, okay? And I get that's what they were going for. Overall, I like it. It just doesn't quite have enough balls for me, if I'm being honest. But let me have one more toke. Oh yeah, there's no button. You just suck on it and the juice comes out, okay? So yeah, that's what I got for you people on the old Hangsen. Who the fuck knew? IQ3S, 3 secs. I don't know what the 3-second thing's about. I'm not sure what the 3-second thing. There's nothing 3-second about it. There's nothing that happens as 3 seconds. Maybe, I guess, how long it takes before it boots up when you... Nah, I don't know. Anyway, people, links are in the description. You can go look around, take a gander. I don't give a shit. But I told you, and we all know that must be worth something. Okay, people? So with that being said... Thank you for watching, guys. I truly do appreciate it. Leave me a like if you liked the video. Dislike it if you dislike this, whatever. Got more videos coming for you this week. We might have to double up a few days. We'll see what happens. Remember, doesn't matter what the fuck you're vaping on, guys. It doesn't. As long as you're not on them gosh darn stinkies. That's what's important. And last but not least, you stay sexy, YouTube. Me and the IQ, we're out. Vaping saves more lives than switching to Android.